Mr.
Yeah.
First round pick.
What's up, man?
You all right?
Finally.
You all right, my
I'm
friend?
good. I'm
Sounds
good. I'm
good.
good. You're
Well,
good?
I wanted to, yes, sir. I wanted to
Good.
welcome you on Sports Talk and the Success Table and get it all started with how did you get involved with football as a kid?
Man, I actually started playing football when I was 5 years old. My parents took me out, put me into it. I was a defensive kid, very aggressive kid, and it was like my thing to just find any little kid and just crush him. Yeah, but yeah, my parents put me in at 5, man.
I
Started
hear
early.
you, man. I hear you, man. So, some of your sports role models, who were they when you were growing up, man?
Oh man, I had so Barry Sanders was like my favorite, kind of like to watch, and like it was just insane. I was a Cowboys fan growing up, so enjoyed Sunday football, Cowboys on TV, and then of course Thanksgiving Day, games, and so all the Emmitt, Irvin, Aikman, uh, Lime, Nate Newton, Leon Lett, Charles Haley, and then when Prime came, like it was crazy. So I was all about the Cowboys as well.
For
But Barry
sure.
Sanders was my favorite. Yeah.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
Yeah.
So, scrolling it forward for you personally, that college transition, what was the most difficult element to the college game that you found difficult to adjust to?
The working out, to be honest. Like I didn't work out in high school. I didn't work. I mean, I would do whatever I could to not work out. And college, couldn't avoid that shit in college, man. I had to. It was a hell of an adjustment. I quit. Like I was gonna quit and just be done with football because it was brutal. And man, my grandmother family basically pushed me back, like literally took me back to school, and you know connected with my boys and having that support and the coaches and all that, and then the rest is history. But man, adjusting to that strength conditioning schedule, like, I hated it. Hated it.
I hear you, man. It's tough for everybody. Hey, working out, barely
Yeah,
anybody loves doing that. So,
first of all, yeah, and then go to a D1, program like that, building, national champions, and that is not a game. It
for
ain't.
sure.
It's not.
Hey, there's
Yeah,
money on the line now. Those
yeah.
for
It's
student
business.
athletes.
Yeah, it is. It's
Definitely.
big business.
For sure, my friend. So,
Yeah.
scrolling it forward for you personally, in the '04 season, how did the team adapt to AP, Adrian Peterson, coming to the squad?
Man, AP was like a young superhero. He was insane, man. Everybody was just like, this is unbelievable. Like, how is he 18? Like, it's for real. This dude doesn't even need to be here. He could just go to the league like right now, like be just fine. So it was exciting, getting him and then him coming in, and we already had a stacked team, a very solid team, well coached team, and a lot of leadership, veteran leadership. And so to get him in there, just that talent was just crazy. He was a Heisman finalist his freshman year. I think he ran for 1,900 yards or whatever it
Sure.
was. He didn't even start, the first 2 or 3 games, I don't think, and would come off the bench and just tear it up. So, getting him in there with that team who had a lot of seniors and we had already won a lot, it was just rich getting richer. And, and we had an amazing season. And but it was just it's cool. And then obviously to see him now, just shake your head like, and
He's a
you're almost not
beast, man.
surprised. Right,
Beast.
right. Yeah,
So that
yeah,
season that he came to Oklahoma,
yeah,
how or what was the process? You guys won 12 straight, then went to the Orange
yeah,
Bowl.
yeah.
What was that preparation throughout the week, and how was it different? Was it different at all for you guys?
Yeah. No, it wasn't different. Championship week, anything different than what we had done in prior years. We were always going to practice hard. We were pads on, we're hitting. scrimmage. Like I mean, we grind, like we grind. And that was our thing. Like it was always going to work hard. And it was always going to push each other to be better. And, you know, for us, it was like we practiced hella hard. And then when it's game time, that's just fun and it's light, you know? And so that week was no different. And, you know, we did our normal routine.
Definitely. So when that game ended and up to the draft, you going to the Ravens, how did Derrick Mason influence your game?
It was cool. It was good to see somebody who had been in the league for a long time at that point already, you know, made a name for himself, and just kind of see how he worked. It wasn't like we were, you know, just in regular relationship or anything, but it was the fact that he was a leader in the locker room and just kind of getting to see what it was like to be a veteran receiver in the NFL firsthand, and a damn good one at that, was very valuable. And, you know, it was great for the adjustment, you know, in addition to obviously having all the veterans on defense that we had and that caliber of defense, just going back and forth with all of those guys, getting all the nuggets that I could, and then, you know, just messing up, you know, going against the defense and just figuring it out with literally like Hall of Famers, was very, very valuable to not only just, you know, me growing as a player, my IQ, and just how I see football to this day.
Definitely. So with my audience, they don't know your story, but you had to win the trust of 3 different quarterbacks: Kyle Bowler, McNair, of course, and the first overall pick from your Oklahoma Sooners, Sam Bradford. How did you win the trust of those quarterbacks, man?
Man, well, you left one out, Joey Flacco, man.
Oh, I forgot it. I forgot about Mr. Joe Flacco. Flacco from Delaware.
Delaware, the cannon.
How did you win the trust and the relationship on the field with those guys?
Man, you know, so my thing was always like, you know, be as precise as you can as a receiver, which would create the maximum amount of space, which makes throws easy for your quarterback. Give your quarterback easy throws. And then if it's a tough throw, whatever, good defense, whatever, make the tough catch. No matter what, don't let it be an interception. Like, I'm gonna tout you. What, it don't even matter. It ain't gonna be no interception. And so it was always like just making sure that, you know, the way I worked and the way I ran my routes, that I always gave the quarterback a place to throw. And then in addition to that, if he was in trouble in a bind and, you know, he needed to throw something up, that I was able to either make the tough catch, make the play, or there's no play at all. And we're, you know, on to the next down, or we're putting if it's third down, whatever it is. But just knowing that throwing it my way, the chances of success happening were great.
For sure,
so
for sure.
That was, you know, it doesn't matter what quarterback it is, you know, they're going to appreciate that, you know. So that was always my mentality, man.
Yeah, you got to always find the open zone. No defenders are at.
That's a whole nother world. Yeah, understanding and having a good feel for zones and when to kind of throttle down or don't move, just sit there. A lot of that came early to me because I played quarterback too in high school. So I got a good feel and idea for like where I would like to throw balls, you know, versus different coverages. And that easily translated to, you know, now being a receiver, it's cover 2, you know, and it's the route. Hey, I know this is where the hole is.
Definitely.
And I'm going and I'm sitting right there. And I know the ball should be there. And, you know, playing with good quarterbacks, you know, typically that timing is going to be there because they see it, they get it. Because most coaches, you know, coach, they call it copycat league. They coach, similar progression and anticipation on your throws. And so, you could hop into any system for the most part, and on pretty much the majority of routes, or zone coverage in particular, kind of know where, the quarterback's looking to throw a ball.
Definitely. So life after football for you personally, how have
Yeah.
you applied the trials and tribulations of football to your personal life?
Man, I think football is, done a number of things, but, one in particular has made me tough. Just kind of, get up, go to work, get it done. Don't care about your feelings. Go to work. We don't care how you feel. Make a play. And I think, today it's a lot of feelings going around, a lot of feelings being expressed, which is fine, to a certain degree. But sometimes at the end of the day, it's just a matter of, getting stuff done and just doing work. And, when feelings can kind of get in and creep into that, it can distract you. And so that was one of the biggest things I think, playing sports is that, you don't, get stuck in them, because although you may have failed on the last play and you feel some kind of way, the next play is coming and you got to be locked in and you got to make the play. Well, I mean, you want to make the play, and the chances of you making that play is better if you're not in your feelings. And so, being able to focus, regardless of circumstance, is another huge. I mean, that's it's a beautiful thing. Performing under pressure, life presents pressure. It's not easy. You have to figure stuff out. You have to find a way to, whether provide for the family, provide for the kids, whatever it is. Like, is a lot of pressure to living, and depending on teammates, and so I can go on and on and on. And that's why my kids are, in sports, and they're going to be in sports and team sports at that, because there's so many life lessons that are transferable to just real life. And then when it comes to business and making money, and a lot of the similar things is, get up is the first part and go. Get up and go. Be there, just, be in the place, and then, being consistent and all that. It's crazy how many kind of lessons and just experiences translate into real life from football, but of course other team sports as well. But I learned a lot and apply that in my life to this day, and will until I'm dead and gone.
Definitely. I think that's the number one thing in sports is the first thing is to show up. And show out.
Show out. Yes.
My next two questions, Mark, are current Ravens questions.
Okay.
The Ravens have picked number 14 in the upcoming draft. Who do you think they're going to go with?
So I haven't started my draft research yet. But looking at the team, looking at, what we've done this year, in spite of, all the injuries and all that, I love just how competitive the organization has been, and always will be. Man, I honestly think we might we might look into the O-line, either a lineman or a defensive tackle. I know, Calais is a little older, B. Williams is a little older, down in that middle. They've done a tremendous job for us. But I just know, the part of anchoring our defense is having some, nice active big boys right down the middle, right down the pipe, where all the action's at, and I think we're, due to find, have another kind of Haloti Nada, coming in the building, or what beast. Yeah. Offensively, we were productive. We struggled. We moved the ball well. We wasn't able to finish in the red zone. I think, that's just a thing of experience. I think Lamar will, take another step, next year. I think sitting on the sideline for the last, 4 weeks it was, to kind of just watch the game and see the flow of the game and look at a lot of the, just the offensive, not necessarily progression, but where we could get better at. Seeing that from the sideline for him, I think was very valuable. And I know he'll take that, and I know he's going to be eager to come back and tear it up next year. But I was happy with what our offense did. Unhappy with some of the accuracy in the red zone, because that cost us a lot of points. And towards the end, I know we had Huntley in there, but those games could have been won. Like, they really could have been won. Big games versus, the Green Bay and the Rams. Definitely could have been with Pittsburgh, of course, the last game we'd be in the playoffs right now. And so, those are things that just in the offseason you develop to progress. We had our opportunities, we just wasn't able to capitalize on them. But I think a big move would be in the D line, in the trenches.
My next question for you, Mark, is a receiver question. How can the Ravens make that next leap in the receiving core? What do they need? A shifty guy, X or Y? What type of receiver are they missing?
I don't think we're missing any type of receiver at all. I think we absolutely have what we need. What I do think is that our execution in our pass game is just not elite. And, we know, like, the Raven mentality is not we're supposed to go sling it across the yard, 40, 50 times a game. So the expectation for, having an elite receiver like a Cooper Kupp going for 140 and 1,900 yards and all, that's not going to happen in Baltimore. That's literally, like, that's not what we do. Until somebody comes in and changes the culture, and we have a whole different offensive coordinator and all that may come into play. But as it is, the formula for us winning the Super Bowl is really not to have a receiver that goes for 14, 15, 1,600 yards. It's to have, receivers that make tough catches down the stretch, that catch balls that are not necessarily accurate, but they're in your vicinity. And I think, Hollywood kind of dropped off towards the end of the season, and there were some plays that he certainly should have made, as one of the guys that has been there that we depend on. But I also think the rookie, help me with his name again. I forget our rookie receiver's name, but the kid showed up and made some tough plays, and it was respect. Did what we needed him to do, and then Mark Andrews. Nothing needs to be said about him. Like,
that tight end's pretty good.
Man, easily top 3 in the business, easily. And so, and then having some other guys kind of fill in, is going to be important. But I think we got guys that can make plays. But at the same time, that's not what our offense is built around. And so, when, balls are not as accurate as they could be, your pass efficiency is not going to be great, and those numbers are not also going to be great either. So
definitely, you guys picked up Sammy Watkins too.
There you go. Yeah, so Sammy was a great addition. We didn't see a lot of Sammy. We didn't get a lot of attempts. Get a lot of balls thrown, a lot of ats or whatnot. But again, that goes to just what our offense is, what our identity is, and it's not that. We could have 3 or 4 receivers that are, could go other places and probably go for, 1,100, 1,200 yards, 8 to 10 touchdowns on 80, catching 70 to 90 balls. Like, they could do that. Rashad Bateman, I couldn't think of his name. Bateman could do that right now. I believe Sammy could do that. Hollywood could do that in an offense that's featuring him. Mark Andrews could absolutely do that. We know that. He just did it. And so the ability is certainly there. Executing a passing game is a whole nother ball game, and it's more difficult when that's not your identity. You have to be more efficient it's a lot more pressure to execute it when your overall scheme is we play defense, we run the ball. Our special teams is phenomenal. We're going to squeeze games. We're going to work clock, and they're all going to come down for the most part to the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game. Not going to be many blowouts unless we can bully somebody. We're definitely going to blow you out. But for the most part, games are going to come down to the wire, and somebody going to have to make a play down the stretch to win it. Either take the lead and/or defense keeping the lead.
You arguably have one of the best kickers too. That's
Ever.
Hey, 3 points is a win.
It's a win. We just need one more point than they got. That's
all you need.
That's it, baby. And so Baltimore ball is Raven ball. We know what it is. It's what you're getting when Baltimore come to town or somebody else come into M&T Bank. So it's receiver wise, it's I think very valuable receivers in Baltimore are receivers that make tough plays under pressure. They make plays where the ball is not necessarily where it's supposed to be. You just get that shit. Get
it. I hear you, man. So, Mark, for my audience, where can they find you on social media?
Man, hit me up. I'm on Insta. I'm an Instagrammer. That's where I spend a lot of, most of my time on social media. I do have a Twitter. I'm on there actually more often now than I was in the past. And my link is Clayton.mc. So just Clayton.mc, and there I am. And then I have a podcast also. It's called Noonish. But on YouTube, you just probably type in my name and it'll come up. But Noonish, we talk sports and tech, and I'm talking Oklahoma football, Ravens ball, and the leagues in general. Dallas sports, of course, being in Dallas, that's where I'm from. And so Noonish, sports and tech, and then Instagram or Twitter.
Sounds good, my friend. For all my audience, go check this cat out. Well, Mark, this concludes our interview, my friend. It's been a blessing, and we'd welcome you on for another one.
Oh, man, appreciate it, brother. God bless you, man. Appreciate you
too,
having
my
me.
friend. Take care, and God bless.
God bless.